What does it mean to carry the weight of an entire city? Not just any city, but New York, a city that never sleeps because pressure never sleeps. A place where expectations are louder than the streets themselves, where every mistake echoes and every victory becomes legend. A place where pressure isn't optional, it's part of the identity. Where millions of fans don't just hope for victory, they demand it. And not quietly, but with passion, with intensity, with a hunger that never fades. And in the heart of that chaos, that ambition, that relentless energy, stands a franchise that has defined winning for over a century, the New York Yankees. A team that isn't just famous, it's feared. A name that carries history, a uniform that carries expectation, a legacy that carries weight. No, a logo that has crossed borders, cultures, and generations, becoming one of the most recognized symbols in all of sports. But how did they become this global symbol of power? Why do players feel pressure the moment they put on that jersey? Why does wearing pinstripes feel less like joining a team and more like stepping into history? And what secrets lie behind the most successful franchise in American sports history? What really built this empire? And what does it feel like to wear the pinstripes, to step onto that field, knowing greatness is not optional, it's expected? This is Inside Sport Empire. To understand the Yankees, you have to understand where they live. Not Manhattan, not Brooklyn, the Bronx. A borough often overlooked, but filled with grit, culture, and resilience. The Yankees play in the South Bronx, a place that mirrors the identity of the team itself. Tough, proud, and unapologetically real. The story of the Yankees doesn't start with dominance, it starts with transformation. Founded in 1903 as the Baltimore Orioles, the team moved to New York and became the Highlanders before finally becoming the Yankees in 1913. At that point, they weren't legends. They were just another team, trying to find their place. But there are even more layers to this legacy. The Yankees weren't just dominant, they were often controversial. In 1919, the trade of Babe Ruth from the Red Sox didn't just help the Yankees. It started what many call the curse of the Bambino. But everything changed with one move. In 1919, the Yankees acquired a young player from the Boston Red Sox.
In 1933, as in so many other seasons, Babe Ruth was the Sultan of Swat. He was past his peak, but in the very first All-Star game, he came to bat with one man.
Not a player who would reshape not just a team, but an entire sport. Babe Ruth. Before Ruth, baseball was a game of strategy and small plays. After Ruth, it became power, spectacle, and home runs. And just like that, the Yankees became a dynasty. But the Yankees' legacy isn't just built on a few legends. It's built on waves of greatness that never seem to stop. Lou Gehrig, the Iron Horse, played 2,130 consecutive games. Joe DiMaggio, elegance and dominance, with a 56-game hitting streak.
The 30th doubleheader against the Minnesota Twins. First game at 1. Here's the payoff pitch. This is it! There it goes! It's out of here!
Mickey Mantle, power, charisma, and resilience through injury. Each era had its hero. Each hero added to the myth. And even beyond those names, there were others who helped build the foundation of greatness.
Dickey is the batter. He hits the first pitch and drives the ball over the right field pavilion roof for a...
Bill Dickey, one of the greatest catchers of his time, helped define consistency and leadership behind the plate.
Red Ruffing, big right-handed pitching star of the New York Yankees, uses a free and easy stance.
Red Ruffing, a dominant pitcher in the 1930s and 40s, played a crucial role in multiple championships. These players may not always be the first names mentioned, but without them, the dynasty would not have been possible. And then there is another layer of Yankees history that changed the game forever. In 1947, Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in Major League Baseball. While he played for the Brooklyn Dodgers,
a packed Yankee Stadium for the World Series opener. Rival managers Casey Stengel for the New York Yankees, Walt Alston for the Dodgers.
His rivalry with the Yankees helped shape one of the most important eras in sports history. These weren't just players. They were pieces of a system that kept producing greatness.
The count is 2 strikes when Yogi Berra slams one down the right field line.
And then there's another name often forgotten outside hardcore fans, Yogi Berra, a catcher, a leader, and one of the most decorated players in MLB history.
Whitey Ford, a name synonymous with excellence in the world of baseball, remarkable statistics.
Whitey Ford, one of the greatest pitchers in Yankees history, known for delivering in the biggest moments. In the 1970s, a new era of attitude and swagger arrived. Color shift to 70s.
Reggie Jackson. Long drive right field. It is by.
Reggie Jackson, Mr. October. In the 1977 World Series, he hit 3 home runs in one game. Not just dominance, but theater. But that era was also defined by intensity and conflict. The Yankees of the 70s were not just winners, they were personalities. Led by owner George Steinbrenner, the franchise embraced pressure, expectations, and controversy. This wasn't just a team, it was a spotlight. And then came the 1990s, a period many fans call the last true dynasty, led by Gehrig, alongside Jorge Posada, Bernie Williams, and Andy Pettitte. This core wasn't flashy, they were disciplined, calm, relentless, and they represented something uniquely Yankees: win first, talk later. What made this era special wasn't just winning, but how they won. They played as a unit. No ego, no distractions, just execution under pressure. And that became a modern version of the Yankees' identity. And here's something many people don't realize. The Yankees didn't just dominate on the field. They changed the business of sports. With the launch of the YES Network in 2002, they became one of the first true media empires in sports. From the 1920s to today, they don't rebuild, they reload. And that's what makes them different. But the legacy goes even deeper. Mariano Rivera, the greatest closer in baseball history, redefined what it meant to finish games.
Pitch, hit on the ground on a hot approaches. Fields, throws across, end time, ball game over, World Series over, Yankees win, the Yankees win.
His calm presence in the most intense moments made him one of the most feared players in the sport. And maybe the most important legacy detail, the Yankees became the blueprint. Every big club that came after copied something from them. From player development, to branding, to handling pressure, the Yankees showed the world what a sports empire looks like. And that is why their legacy is different. Not just because they won, but because they changed what winning looks like. Yankee Stadium is not just a place to watch baseball, it's a ritual. Built in 2009 right next to the original house that Ruth built, this modern cathedral holds over 46,000 fans. But what makes this stadium unique is not just its size, it's the weight of everything that came before it. The new stadium was designed to reflect the past, from the exterior architecture to the details inside. Everything connects to the legacy of the original stadium, but numbers don't tell the story, because walking into Yankee Stadium feels different. The white frieze along the roof, a tribute to history, Monument Park, where legends are immortalized in stone. Ruth, Gehrig, DiMaggio, Jeter. You don't just see names, you feel presence, because those names are not just remembered, they are part of the environment. The fans arrive early. They walk slowly, almost respectfully, because this isn't just a stadium, it's sacred ground. For many fans, coming here is not just about the game, it's about connection. Parents bringing their children, telling stories of games they once watched, moments being passed down from one generation to the next, and then the game begins. One of the most iconic traditions, the roll call by the Bleacher Creatures. In the first inning, fans chant every player's name until they acknowledge them. It's not just support, it's a test of presence, a test of connection between players and fans. Because in this stadium, fans expect to be seen. Then there's the atmosphere, the tension. Yankees fans don't react like normal fans. They judge. A strikeout, booed, a mistake, current question, a big moment, explosive. Because this is not a place where effort is enough. This is a place where performance is expected. And when the Yankees win, Frank Sinatra's New York, New York echoes through the stadium.
New York, New York.
A simple song, but in that moment, it feels like a victory anthem for the entire city. It's not just celebration, it's identity. But what makes a Yankees game truly unique is the unpredictability of the crowd. There are nights where the stadium feels electric from the first pitch, and nights where tension builds with every inning. That tension is part of the experience, because every fan in the stadium understands what is expected. Late game moments in the Bronx are different. You can feel it. Every pitch slows down, every swing feels heavier. The entire stadium holds its breath. And when a home run is hit, the stadium doesn't just cheer, it erupts. Another unique detail, the short right field porch, a feature that has shaped decades of Yankees baseball, favoring left-handed hitters and creating iconic home run moments. It's not just architecture, it's strategy, a detail that has influenced how the team is built and how the game is played. And then there's the energy of New York itself. Subways packed with fans before and after games, street vendors outside the stadium, the noise, the chaos, the anticipation. The experience doesn't start at the stadium gates, it starts in the city. Watching a Yankees game is not just a sports experience, it's a full New York experience. It's the sound of the city, the pressure of history, and the feeling that every moment matters. So what makes the Yankees the Yankees? It's not just money, it's not just talent, it's expectation. Winning is not the goal, winning is the standard. But there's more. The Yankees operate with a mindset. We are bigger than any individual. That's why there are no names on the back of the jerseys. Only the front matters. Another secret: control, silence. No chaos in public, no unnecessary distractions. Everything stays inside. And then, discipline. The grooming policy: no beards, no long hair. Not for style, but for identity. You represent something bigger than yourself. And one of the most overlooked secrets? They don't just recruit talent, they recruit mentality. Because in New York, talent is everywhere. But composure under pressure? That's rare. There's also a deeper, almost invisible system behind the Yankees' success. Consistency and leadership. And another secret few talk about? They embrace pressure markets. They don't avoid them. They build for them. There is nothing harder than New York, which means there is nothing bigger either. The Yankees don't just have big moments. They have moments that define history. 27 World Series titles, the most in Major League Baseball history, a number that doesn't just represent success, but sustained dominance across generations. But it's the stories behind them that matter. Babe Ruth calls his shot, points to the stands, and delivers. A moment so bold, it became legend. Because it wasn't just about hitting a home run, it was about confidence, personality, and changing how athletes were seen. Ruth didn't just play the game, he performed it. Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak, a record so difficult, it may never be broken. What makes this moment historic is not just the number, but the consistency required. Game after game, pressure building, expectations rising, and still delivering. It represents perfection over time. Don Larson throws a perfect game in the World Series. Still unmatched. Not just a perfect game, but on the biggest stage possible. No mistakes, no errors, no second chances. In a sport built on failure, this was perfection. Reggie Jackson hits 3 home runs in 1 World Series game. 3 swings, 3 home runs, against elite pitching, under the brightest lights. This wasn't just performance, this was theater. Down 14 games. Game 163, Bucky Dent becomes a legend. A player not known for power delivers one of the most unexpected home runs in Yankees history. This moment showed something unique about the franchise. Anyone can become a hero. The Yankees return to glory, a rebirth. Well, after years without dominance, they rebuilt not through chaos but through patience and development. 114 wins, one of the greatest teams ever assembled. The 1998 Yankees didn't just win, they dominated from start to finish. Consistency, discipline, and teamwork at the highest level. Many consider this team the blueprint of modern success. October 2001. Derek Jeter becomes Mr. November, a moment bigger than baseball. After the events of September 11, this moment carried emotional weight far beyond sport. It wasn't just a home run, it was a symbol of resilience for an entire city. And Mariano Rivera, dominance, simplicity, legacy, one pitch, over and over again. And still, no one could stop it. The greatest closer in baseball history, proving that mastery is not about complexity, but execution. But the Yankees' history goes even deeper, filled with moments that continue to shape the game. 1927, Murderers Row. One of the most feared lineups in baseball history, led by Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig, this team didn't just win, they intimidated. They set a new standard for offensive dominance.
I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
1939, Lou Gehrig's farewell speech. The luckiest man on the face of the earth. A moment that transcended sports, strength in the face of adversity, a reminder that legacy is not just built on performance, but character. 1978, the comeback season from 14 games behind to champions. One of the greatest comebacks in sports history. Proof that momentum can change everything. 1996, the beginning of a new dynasty, Derek Jeter's rookie season, a young core stepping into pressure and immediately delivering. This wasn't just a win, it was the start of something bigger. 2009, championship return in the new stadium. A new era, a new home, and immediately, success. Proving that no matter the setting, the standard remains the same. And across all these moments, one pattern remains clear. The Yankees don't just win championships, they define moments. They perform under pressure, they deliver when expectations are highest, and they turn moments into history. These aren't just highlights, they're chapters in a story that never stops being written. Pressure is a privilege, then tradition. No names on jerseys, clean-cut appearance, respect for history. Nothing is accidental. Everything is intentional. And then, accountability. In New York, failure is public. There is nowhere to hide. And that creates something rare. Players who are mentally elite. But the deepest layer, the weight of the jersey, you're not just playing for a team, you're playing for history. And one truth defines everything. Winning is not a goal, it's identity. And there's something else fans recognize instantly. Composure. Act like you've been there before. Because in New York, you're expected to have. And that expectation is what separates the Yankees from almost every other team in sports. Because this is not just a franchise that wants to win, it is a franchise that expects to win every single season. The Yankees represent more than baseball. They represent excellence, a standard that has been built over more than a century. From the earliest dynasties to the modern era, the message has always been the same. Anything less than winning is not enough. This is why the Yankees brand is recognized worldwide. The logo, the pinstripes, they are not just symbols of a team. They are symbols of success. And with that global identity comes something else, responsibility. Because when you wear that jersey, you are representing more than yourself. And you are representing generations of players and millions of fans. Another defining part of Yankees' DNA is discipline, not just on the field, but in behavior. The clean-cut appearance policy is not random. It reflects a belief that professionalism matters, that image matters, that representing the Yankees means holding yourself to a higher standard at all times. And then there is the mindset of the organization itself. The Yankees don't rebuild. They reload, year after year. The expectation remains the same. This creates a culture where mediocrity cannot survive, where players are constantly pushed, not just by coaches, but by the environment itself. Because in New York, the crowd is not just watching, they are evaluating. They understand the history, they understand the standard, and they expect you to live up to it. That is what makes Yankees fans different. They are passionate, but also demanding. They don't celebrate effort, they celebrate results. And that pressure creates something unique, a mental edge. Players who succeed here are not just talented, they are resilient, focused, unshaken by noise, criticism, or expectation. This is why the Yankees have produced so many leaders. Players who perform not just when things are easy, but when everything is on the line. Because at the Yankees, you are never just playing the game. You are playing under a spotlight that has existed for over 100 years. And that spotlight reveals everything. your strengths, your weaknesses, your character, and only a certain type of player can thrive in that environment. Now, this is what makes the Yankees truly unique. Not just their history, but the expectations that come with it. Because in this organization, winning is not celebrated as something special. It is expected as something normal. And that expectation is what turns players into legends. New York Yankees are not just a baseball team. They are a standard, a symbol of excellence that has shaped the identity of an entire sport. From the Bronx to the world, their message has never changed. Win, dominate, leave a legacy. They don't celebrate history, they carry it. Every game, every moment, every generation. And that's why, whether you love them or hate them, you cannot ignore them. Because the Yankees are not just part of baseball, they are baseball. Because when you think of greatness, you think of the pinstripes. When you think of pressure, you think of New York. And when you think of legacy, you think of a franchise that never stops demanding more. Because this is not a team that waits for success. It expects it, it builds it, and it delivers it again and again. And maybe that is what makes them different. Not just the championships, not just the legends, but the mindset. A mindset that has been passed down from Babe Ruth to Lou Gehrig to DiMaggio to Jeter and to every player who wears the jersey today. Because when you step onto that field, you are not just playing for yourself, you are continuing a story that started over a century ago. And that story is still being written every season, every inning, every pitch. So the question is not what the Yankees have done. The question is, what comes next? If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, subscribe to the channel to explore the world of sports empires, and comment which empire we should explore next. And remember, dynasties come and go, but empires, they never die. Because true empires are not built on moments, they are built on standards that never change. This is Inside Sport Empire.